last Saturday of the spring meet here at Pimlico. Keith Fustel and I on today at the races, getting things ready to rock and roll. Keith, let's go ahead and just bring up what happened yesterday. A $15.20 winner to kick off the early pick four, a $22.40 winner to kick off that rainbow pick six.
Yeah.
Of course, those mandatory payouts are big, and of course, a nice $18.20 winner yesterday to kick off the late pick five.
Yeah, it just kind of got off to an interesting start for the pick six yesterday, and a couple
It did.
horses hit that were tough to come up with.
Mhm.
Lady Serenity was bet down a little bit, a big effort there.
Mhm.
Billy Humphrey chosen the right
He
mount
did.
there, right? He had a couple choices in there, and
He
that
did.
one was able to shake clear and hold on. But, when you get that, and it led on to one live ticket, right? There was one live for the whole payout
It was.
yesterday.
It was a.
And man, you feel for somebody like that to get in that position. Sometimes a once in a lifetime position to be
Right.
sitting on a life changer like that. But hence we move on, and we've
We
got
do.
we've got the carryover. It
Yes,
continues.
it does continue, and it does start with that rainbow pick six, 496,821. You can be sure that that's going to be up from that by the time we get to race number four, and of course that jackpot, super high five, 475,656. A lot of numbers, Keith, and a
Yeah.
lot of action to kind of back it up. We're going to get into it a little bit later on, but a nice card here on Saturday to kind of continue that parade of just potential prices coming up here, and it does. Let's go ahead and take a look at the track. Of course, track is fast. Turf is firm. Turf was okay yesterday.
Yeah, everything's fine here. Yeah, we're fast and firm. We've got beautiful weather. 78 right now. It might edge up a little bit for more than that, but a little haze going on behind me. But I tell you, all in all, a good day. We've had a tremendous stretch of weather for the racing, so keeping that in order. And we head to the first, and got ourselves a little beaten claiming event going long.
Yes, this claiming 25 never win two starts off the early pick five, going a mile and 16th on the dirt for the 3-year-olds. And up, Keith, you have the number 3 on top. This is a lot of sense for Corrales. Axel Concepcion gets the call here today and doesn't ride a lot for him, but
Nope.
2/3 as of lately when these two team up.
I'm just taking a little bit of a reach here, Cal.
Sure.
I know the price won't be big. Well, it's big right now. I think this horse will come down. I might have had him a little bit too low at 3-1 on the morning line, but I just couldn't wrap my head around this race. I mean,
Sure.
I can kind of come up with a reasoning for every horse, but a lot of sense is going to go second time Lasix. Going to try a route of ground the first time. It showed a little bit more of that back speed it showed early on in its career. Even after the stumble, got into okay position, a little churn, switched over to the left lead about mid-stretch, but you might be able to fool this one for the first time going long. I don't think there's a lot of true speed in here. Concepcion, if this one breaks, hey, get into the race because he's kind of got that style. I think he'll fight you. He'll stay on. If the pace isn't too demanding, he'll hang around and stay for the trip. So a little shot here with a lot of sense for Corrales and Concepcion to get you going. New York Panther, I think, is an improving type. We've seen this barn do okay off the claim recently. They don't run a lot, but they run fairly well, and a little erratic through the stretch last time, but the final time is good comparatively. I think this horse, when stays, was recency and improving form for Daniel McKenzie. The horse I couldn't quite tab here is Federal Offense. Last time out, we've got a video, right, of that
Yes.
one. Stumbling at the break, only run once in 2023. Right here, a little bump again, and got inside a little stumble, but jostled around, I should say, at the break. Boyce does a good job, though, of just kind of getting this one to settle back off of the pace and brings an okay finish. Hellman is that interesting horse that was DQ'd, right, because of the whip violation, but able to save ground as far as Boyce as she does so well. Yeah, that's why I was a little surprised not to see her back. This one horse finishes up consistently faster, Callie, but we're going to have Humphrey today. We'll see what he can do. He's very capable as well, but I take a little shot with a lot of sense.
There we go. And as Keith Fustel wraps up with, of course, his picks in 3-5-4-2, they're in race number 1. Race number 2 does kick off the early pick 4. Keith, how's your ticket look today?
Yeah, it's a cheapo. $10.
Okay,
Hey,
okay.
we're gonna put some other money in the pick 6, but if we can get this one going and have a little extra bankroll, that's good for further down in the card. Too deep to get you started. Starters orders the 6, so I've probably got lined way too high. Would have whiffed on my part. And the 8, Miss San Gabriel, I think will be the favorite for Grand Motion in race number 2. Race 3, too deep again. The 2 and the 3. Fortunately, we got some scratches in there. The 4 Crown Cristo and the 5 Call Me Mushroom both would have taken a slew of play. They are scratched, so we go 2-3 in there. The one to catch will be Flaming East for Kieran. Race 4, 2-5, 6-11. Little price there with Quinn Cannon, the 2 horse, and wrap it up with a single. This is not like me at all. 0 for 19 succeed, but just Nick Deladovico's done a very good job.
Yeah.
A couple excuses for this horse. I think he finds the right field and gets through the maiden ranks.
There we
today.
go.
$10.
$10. There we have it, and it does start off in this maiden special weight for the girls 3, 4, and 5 years old, going a mile here on the turf. Let's go ahead and kick right to that stat on the number 6 for Shug McGahee and starters orders. Force Boys, of course, gets the call.
Yeah, that combo is just deadly. We know that. In the last 3 years, 4 for 19 is Shug, 21%, 7 for 19 the money. Dirt to turf with the maidens. Second career start. ROI is a good one, 285, hedging towards $3. So we like that. Really no run. Didn't take much play at all at Gulfstream either when going back to that race March the 4th. But looking at the breeding, it's there. This one's a half to 4-time turf winner in stakes place type, or might have been stakes winner, Nathan Detroit. We're familiar. We've seen that gray around here, run some big races. Second dam, very salty. The turf breeding is there. I'm going to take that stat angle and run with it. Starters order. You look at the family on the turf. They should be able to handle. This one should be able to handle the route.
Sure, definitely a safe bet on top. You also go with the number 8 in your exacta, Miss San Gabrielle for Graham Motion. Gets Georgie Rui a bit on fire on the turf over here at Hilltop so far. And, of course, Graham Motion, when stretching them out, also does well as well.
He does. And looking at that race at Aqueduct, made a move into a very brisk pace. Caught wide, a little fade late. Temple City should be able to handle the stretch out here. You talked about that stat sprint to route. It's a good one. Last place finisher out of that race at Aqueduct did come back and beat me out of a lot of money. Ran a big race at 29 to 1 for Stidham. Ran a 74 to win it. I had a Brittany Russell horse in there that led every step but about the last 3 and ran third at a good price. But Miss San Gabriel's a user, definitely.
Absolutely. You also include Carolina Hideaway. Susan Cooney gets Javian Salido in the saddle here today. Coming from off of the pace, a good effort in that first time out, going the 5 furlongs at Pimlico.
Yeah, interesting. Caught that exact. That was a good one because that was the firster for Carrie Brion. It was well meant. Bet down about 5 or 6 to 1. Whistled on the front end, but Carolina Hideaway finished up quite well. It's an interesting move, not getting another sprint under her belt. And the other thing is, looking at the breeding, Cal, it's a real strong sprint lean when you look at it on that bottom side. So interesting move. Certainly she was finishing quite well. Others chased that pace and backed up. We'll see if she can handle the stretch out to the mile.
And, of course, Keith Fusto goes 6, 8, 5, 7, wrapping things up with Determined Empire for his picks there in the third. Excuse me, let's go ahead into the third. Excuse me, I just scrolled a little bit ahead. In this claiming 5,000 for the 3-year-olds and up, which have never won a race since December 3rd or never won 4. 6 furlongs on the dirt. Big scratches in the 4 and the 5 countdown. Cristo and Call Me Maestro. So you and I end up landing on Flaming East for Kieran McGee and Carlos Lopez.
Yeah, and was against the grain of the racetrack last time out, May 13th, against Call Me Maestro, who we're going to wait and see for another day. But looks like with a clean break could be the controlling speed in here. So against the grain there, I think last the trip. Spring the Beast, the other Crystal Picket might try to put the pressure on and help set things up for Dr. Rusty Raymond, who's runs a good number over this racetrack, freshened up a little bit, caught some tougher horses, I think, the last 2 starts. You're looking at that starter allowance race, a late run behind Top Boss. It was a good form. 2 back, Dialing Dixie, who ran really big here recently, just suffered a brutal beat just late on the wire. So keying up against the right kind, good number here. Cruz to kind of sit a stalking trip and try to move it. If Flaming East gets away with a clear run, he might be gone here for Kieran. Kieran is solid at this nickel level. He's solid almost at every level, right? But second off the claim, he's 30% here recently with these horses, second off the claim for the nickel.
Absolutely. There, Keith Fusto goes 2, 3, 6, 1 in race number 3. Race number 4, of course, kicks off that Rainbow Pick 6, and that pool is now at 496,821. As mentioned earlier, that will be climbing definitely upwards as we get to race number 4, and it does begin with this claiming 25. My ticket structure looks a little bit like this: 2, 4, 5, 6 here in the fourth. I was tempted to put in the 3 as well if you wanted to. 2, 4 in race number 5, and then I go back to going 4 deep in race number 6 in that allowance optional claiming 40, a mile and 16th on the turf. I like a lot. I could have also added the one cashing big checks. Not a lot of strong turf breeding, but it's interesting enough for me. But I think some of the ones that I picked on my ticket are a bit stronger. The only single I landed on was Hollywoodland for Spoish McGahee. I'm just really dependent on that turf clock that she just has. That's her biggest strength here as a rider in Forest. So I was struggling to find a single. We talked about this a little bit earlier before the show, Keith. Good card to set up here for today for a nice competitive setup for this Rainbow Pick 6 as I go 3 deep in race number 8 and 2 deep in race number 9 for a $38.40 ticket to kick off here in race number 4. And this race number 4 is in fact a claiming 25, which have never won 2, going a mile and 16th for the 3-year-olds and up. Scratching the number 10 Van Hoofer. And you and I both land on Quinn Cannon, 6-1 in the morning line for Susan Cooney. Jean Brasino gets the call. Let's go ahead and take a look at that last effort out over at Pimlico.
Yeah, we're right here at Pimlico Old Hilltop, right behind us on this turf course labeled as firm. Quinn Cannon just caught very, very wide. A little further off the pace than I thought, but extremely wide, but closes up with some interest, only beaten 2 and change when it's all said and done, swapping over there late to that left lead, right? But I tell you, looking at the bottom side, there's a sibling there. It's run long on the dirt. It's been okay. So topside Buffum, fine. I'm looking at the race. God is love might go ahead and try to go. Has some speed. I think is a little tactical. But Quinn Cannon with a break is a back number that works on this over the turf course. I think is a pace factor a long way here for Susan Cooney.
Big time, which also kind of brings me to a little bit of tic-tac-toe, who you have in your exacta for Lacey Gaudet, Johan Rosado. The only win that this one has had, pushing, not on the lead, but pushing for it.
Yeah, and lots of positives here for the barn, for Lacey Gaudet. First time in the barn, 423 ROI, turf. Not a great percentage, but the ROI is there, 375. This
That's
money
what matters.
the money will spread around in this race. You can't take anything less than 3 or 7-2 on anybody in here. But I like that. You're right. Last time out they went fast at Tampa, just got lost. Too far back. But I think should be able to lay in range here and bring a finish.
Okay, there we have it. And let's talk about the number 11, who you have underneath, and the AE that comes in off that draws in. Off the AE list, Tapit Brio, Lily Curtinez, Georgie Ruiz gets the call. This is one that could potentially just gets a perfect trip. And I mean, Georgie's been riding great, so I just feel like Georgie's going to give this one a good go.
Exactly. Even from the 11 post, we'll have to work out a little bit of a trip. A capable turf rider, he knows how to ride the turf. So recency, form is good. Against some question marks, some horses that are coming off some breaks and pursuing pace and bail out off 202 days. I think we'll be able to get position here, and that recency should help the finish.
Sure enough. So Keith Fusel goes 2, 5, 11, 6 there in race number 4. That does kick off the Rainbow Pick 6, and we will be right back after this commercial break for a little bit more of a racing talk.
When it comes to getting back in the game, there's only one team to turn to. The team more high school, collegiate, and professional athletes train and recover with. That team is MedStar Sports Medicine. For more than 30 years, MedStar has served as a leader in the diagnosis, treatment, and rehabilitation of orthopedic and sports-related injuries. Ranked among the top programs in the Maryland and Washington regions, we offer rapid access to athletes of all levels. Let the pros who treat the pros treat you. MedStar Sports Medicine.
Of course, MedStar supporting our health for not only our jockeys, but the rest of our staff here and backside workers here at MJC. We are so grateful to them as we go ahead into race number 5 in this maiden claiming 30,000, a mile and 16th on the turf for the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. Let's go ahead and talk about your top selection in my exacta Succeed for Nick Diodevicco, your single on your ticket for your just the last leg of the early pick 4. J-Ron Barbosa gets the call. Like you said, a lot of room for improvement, Keith.
Yeah, 0 for 19 for me. But, I'm going to bite. Hey, I'm taking the bait.
Sure.
Succeed. Two legitimate excuses. Last time out on the turf, really maybe not his surface, but some trouble early. And then the 11 posted a mile and 16th at Churchill against a little bit better field. So I'm going to pass on those. The other races here, back east, okay, Aqueduct, Laurel works for me. Yeah, speed's going to be from the inside with corrected pedigree, but I think with Barbosa, look for Succeed to be kind of put into the race fairly early. He has to be, in my opinion, prominent at the 3/8. If he is within a couple lengths on that lead, I think he gets the job done and finally graduates here.
100% agreed with that. He needs to be in the game. You have the number 2 underneath,
Yeah.
Toast to Coast, TJ Aguirre. Javian Toledo gets the call. Really nice effort over here at Pimlico, just trying to continue on that and gets a nice jock in Toledo.
Exactly. This horse, maybe cut out to be an okay horse. And maybe things now are starting to work. Toast to Coast goes second time gelding. We see that next wake-up move. It certainly could come here. And I did ride the wave of the racetrack back on the 18th at Pimlico when wide. It was a shorter field, but I like the move. Kept on trying to the wire. I predict a little bit more improvement here. I like Toast to Coast to be a part of it.
Let's talk about the number 6, who you have underneath. And admit nothing, Carlos Mencia, Angel Cruz. You have that one. I left that one off of my ticket, but we get a first-time router. How is this one going to be taking it today?
Interesting. Goes 6 and then back to 5.5. Ran sneaky good in debut after being a little bit of a bad actor. Closed up, caught that horse, running on late. Good gallop out. Just caught a better field. Comes probably out of, when you're looking at it and breaking it down, maybe the strongest race, Callie, that these horses has faced. Great Havens was a really, prominent first. Took a lot of play for Tim Keefe. Box and Bennett, who's been knocking on the door. Stretching out 5.5 to a mile and 16th, question mark. But look at those stats there for Mancia. Sprinter route. 15% with an ROI, close to $8. 2 sprints, the route works. So there's a lot of positives. This owner-trainer combo, he and Michael Sheffrey's done quite well. 8 for 38 the past 3 months, 21% with an ROI of 371. Admit nothing, would like to see a little bit of pace develop, and I think we'll move into it through the stretch.
And we'll see what happens there in race number 5 as Keith Fusel goes 4-2-6-1. And race number 6, of course, that jackpot super high 5. That carryover is now at 475,656, and it does begin here in this allowance optional claiming. It ends also here in this allowance optional claiming 40,000. Mile and 16th on the turf for the girls 3 years old and up. You and I both have the number 6, Silver Currency, 5-1 in the morning line. Brittany Russell, Javian Toledo. This one caught some attention back in March.
Yeah, prior connections and recent connections have tried to get this one on the grass. And rightfully so when you look at the breeding. American Pharoah, 15% with the turf. Routers, bottom side. Slew of turf, grade 3 winner in the family. So yeah, take kind of the new face on the grass. You got some horses that have established turf form. So Silver Currency is going to have to be on her game. She's going to have to deal with a little bit of speed too inside, cashing big treks. Likes to go double fireball. I think it's going to be part of the flow as well. So Silver Currency, I think she can set up shop, a few lengths off the lead and move into it. Let's hope she takes to the turf. If she does and holds close to that recent dirt form, if it transitions, she's going to be tough in here. I think the horse to beat is the 4, Community Adjusted. First time going here for Arnaud Delacour. A little bit of a dud to finish the season in 2022. If it comes back, we're going to show you a video of one of those better tries at Colonial last summer, late August, against a really good field.
Yeah, exactly. This one in that Colonial run back on the 30th of August just gets a nice little. Really, it's just the trip again. I think this one needed that a bit of an open. It's the outside, kind of that outside trip that works for me. With this one, kind of got a little bit of an eye opener and was able to really make that move. And Jareth Loveberry was able to take advantage of just the position that this one was in.
Yeah, made the run. It's a little slower pace in that 3 to 5. I think it was a McGahee runner. Real good horse. It was able to control it, but take nothing away from the effort. The little swooping move, 3-4 wide, and just a good finish, a good willing chase to the wire. Fits here, maybe out a little tougher race in New York, but freshened up for a very capable barn, turf or dirt. It doesn't matter for Delacour. And I like the works just keep getting better and better and better leading up to this return try.
Absolutely. You also have the number 7 underneath in, Tick Tick Boom for Alan Bedard. Gets Andrew Wolfson coming down from New York. Of course, you have to respect it. You have to respect it. Interesting for me, just too even last time out. I just want to see. I need to see it a little bit. While it was an improve against a decent field, this is a crafty field that we have. I think in this race today, so really needs to show some presence.
Yeah, and I think what happened last time, you see the half 51, 115, then they picked it up, tried to move into it, actually finished okay. It was that early pace that just did tick, 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 booms in.
Right.
So I think today, talking about cashing big checks, talking about double fireball, and maybe even silver currency, expect a little bit more. I don't know we're going to see 51 go up on the board for the half, so
Right.
a little bit more of a quicker contested pace will definitely enhance the chances. The horses run well in the state of Maryland before. Comes in, jockey-trainer combo, really high percentage. So I would not leave this one out of your exactas.
Talk about Miss Delicious. At year 11 underneath, Steve Claceris, Virgo Lynch gets the call. This one has been campaigning over, had just a proper winter campaign over at Gulfstream Park. Was entered the 13th of May at Pimlico. Was an off-turf event, so but they were on the AE and scratched anyway.
Yeah, anything close to the number of that race in the return tracks from September to January, Gulfstream, really, really good. It's beating the likes of cashing big checks, beats Surya. A little flat again last time, but the number still works. A little freshing is going to do this one big, do this one some good. Outer post, I think, should be able to draft in somewhere. I don't know if you want to be using too wide to get position early. Settle back and matriculate up. I think Miss Delicious is a user as well.
As well, Keith, you still go 6, 4, 7, 11 there in that jackpot super high 5. Of course, that really nice pool that we have of 460,000 and upwards. Race number 7 is a maiden special weight, going a mile and 16th on the dirt for the 3, 4, and 5-year-old girls. Keith, you have the number 2, Haint Blue for Hamby Smith. Gets the blinkers on, and J. Ron Barbosa back on as well.
Yeah, and I was thinking, looking at the breeding, bottom side, theatricality, and all the turf was going to maybe be the answer, but maybe this filly's just a little bit better on the dirt. The blinkers go on. I think the distance is not an issue. Flow is going to be okay. Woody, your top selection should be rocking and rolling along with Italian War Cry. I think the blinkers may be the key for this one, the follow through. Be able to save ground a long way in here. I like the draw. A little bit better price, too, because Hollywood Land is going to take a slew of money. And I think Woody, I might have there's a little too close from a betting standpoint. It'll be interesting to see. But I think the horse to beat is this 5 for McGahee and Boyce.
And I made a typo as I was sending in my picks. I actually do go 5, 6 in this race. This is my single on my ticket. Of course, you can't. This is first time on the turf. Second route for Shug, 23% as of late. 10 in the last 43 starts with those second time routers. Excuse me. But Michael Matz. Interesting. Good win yesterday and gets to Toledo today. Has tried really only successful ride going to the lead was going short in that first time effort. So then we take things and we stretch things out for this one. So it's going to be interesting how that pans out for this one.
Yeah, certainly top and bottom. Uncle Mo, Giants Causeway. You think this one she could get to the front and just keep on going? She's going to have to deal with the 7 to her outside a little bit. I'm a little hesitant to take a short price on what we saw Michael Matt score with the big price yesterday. I'm not going to go for the shorter one in here. Maybe use underneath in the exactas. I got the key around Haint Blue that gives me a little bit of value. But Hollywood Land comes out of a pretty good race. We talked about this race yesterday. Ocean Gateway came out of there, won, and then came back and ran a little bit. Did not run well yesterday, had position and backed up. And another horse out of there we talked about, the second place finisher, Imranra. He's come back and run 2 big races. So Hollywood Land keys up against the right kind. We'll see if she can grind it out in race 7. I go 2-5-5-2 in there.
Race number 8 is in a nice allowance for the girls 3 years old and up, going a mile and 16th on the turf scratch. And the 6, 7, 8, and 10. 3 out of those 4 scratches. Excuse me, and the 4 as well. Big scratch in Pelota Sisters, but 3 out of those 5 were main track only scratches anyway. But Keith, you end up landing on the number 11 on the outside. Number 11 seems to be a bit of your number today. And
how about that?
now you can't leave for Kelly Rubley. Gets Horacio Caramanos. Just didn't get away in that last effort, in that first asking off of a little bit of a break in 2023.
A little ode to one of my favorite movies.
Okay.
A Bronx Tale.
There we go.
You ever see that one?
No.
Okay. All right, maybe you want to check that one out.
I need to
now.
now.
You can't leave. Yeah, they locked the bikers in the bar, and it was over.
Okay.
It was over after that. But, form kind of
I
all
like
over
that.
the map.
Sure.
And I think Karamanos, who rides the turf well here, I think third off a little bit of a break, is going to be able to kind of draft in early and bring a finish here in race A. Kind of close here. Tough to figure out this race for me from a flow standpoint. I think Betcha by Golly is going to kind of go out there winging, and we'll see how far she can go. Nicolar, consistent form on the grass, comes out of a good race last time out on Preakness Day.
Absolutely. You also include the 9 and the 2. Lenny Kate for Orlando Nord. Javian Toledo gets the call. You have to respect that effort from last time out at Aqueduct. And then you also include the number 2, Daily Planet, Milan Milosevic Force Boys. That I have that one in my exacta. I'm looking. What we were looking for Hassan for Pimlico, but I'm also looking for Milan as well. So I'm kind of banking on that little bit of hometown advantage.
Hassan and Milan. Yeah, Force Boys again. I mean, another live mount here. Could have a big day.
She could. Let's see how things look for race number 9 in this maiden special weight, going 6 furlongs on the dirt for the straight 3-year-olds. Keith, you have the number 8. Let's go ahead and talk about and take a look at Dillinger for Brittany Russell gets Javian Toledo. Let's take a look at that effort from Santa Anita. This was back in early April.
Yeah. I'm telling you, look at these races. Some of these horses, they kind of come west to east. And when I was pulling up the PPs, I'm like, oh, man, what do I make this horse? Horse could be 2-5, 1-5 when it's all said and done. And this is the race on April the 8th, right? Gets the lead, battles inside. 89 is the buyer. You just don't see that number for maidens around here much anywhere, right? I tell you, this horse went to Churchill, 11 posts on a sloppy surface for Yak Team. It just kind of chasing a little bit of fade here. Regrouped, I'm sure, here for Brittany. There is some other speed to the inside. I don't know if it's going to be a super easy task because you got another Brittany horse in here. First time Brittany when Childers appears to be working forwardly, has some speed, a little bit of gait issues last time, but could be tied on. 8-4-4-8. She might have it surrounded here in the nightcap box, and Ben holding pretty good form goes first off the claimant. Israeli Army ran quite well last summer as a 2-year-old against the right kind, Johnny Z from Albany. We'll see if this one's ready off the break. You might have to sit back a little bit and try to make that run in his speed. I don't know if anybody's going with the 4-8 early.
Some impressive works though for Israeli Army leading into this, so that's a really nice. That's really encouraging. Benny Feliciano, two out of the last 4 starts in that second time start as well. I'd go ahead and take a shot with Freeze the Fire, Cal Lynch, Georgie Rui. I'm not going to ignore a Cal Lynch first time starter at all, but certainly finds it definitely a tough field here again. A previous Cal Lynch starter, Box and Ben, who you have underneath as well, gets the rail again for Box and Ben. Has that. Box and Ben getting the rail, that was just a thing where Cal Lynch horses kept getting the rail, but this one has been trying and just been getting a little flat at that last little bit at the end.
Yeah, goes Hugh McMahon, and I tell you, it was on the worst part of the racetrack. You see the tight start early, and then battles, I should say in tight brush late. But yeah, 13th, you want to be kind of off the rail closers that day, inside speed. Might be able to sit just off of as well because we saw this one kind of rate 4 and 5 wide a couple races back and run okay. Might have to take those tactics today with those couple horses on the outside. And your first are interesting. Yeah, freeze the fire. I got the mare 4 for 25, made 210,000. Two of the siblings hit the board, ran second first time out. So. That bodes well. This was the horse that was tough for me to line because you know the Brittany Russell horse at the outside was going to take a ton of money. But see if this horse takes some play and see if it holds play on the tote board.
And that's kind of what I went for because Brittany's horse on the outside is going to be the obvious horse to go for. But if you want to try and find a little bit of a value, throw in an exacta box out there because that's my bet that I like. I like an exacta box with a little bit of a price. So that's exactly how I approached this race here for this maiden special weight race to wrap things up here for Saturday. Let's go ahead and talk lightning round and bring up a couple of stuff that happened a bit earlier, starting with your value play, Keith, in race number 2, the number 6 in starters orders.
Yeah, starters orders. Again, dull debut on the main track. A couple horses in here with a little bit of form. Obviously, I don't think I'm going to get anywhere close. Bad line there. That's my snafu. But I still think we might get 3-1, 7-2, 4-1 in that range, which will work for me for that combo. Shug. Boys, we talked about the turf breeding bottom side. It's all there, lined up for a much improved second effort.
And as we talk and continue on to the last couple of days here at the Old Hilltop meet, Javian Toledo clearly in the lead here of taking that title. Nobody's going to catch him. He has 2 in for tomorrow, but absolutely nobody is catching him here today. And, of course, Brittany Russell leading the trainer standings as well. And I think that's going to be looking pretty good. She's unstoppable as well.
Oof.
Yeah, 15. Good luck trying to catch her. That's a done deal. Happened quick, Keith, didn't it?
Man, that's it. It's over. 15-5. No, but hey, she's holding some bullets right now, no doubt about it. Doing a great job.
Yep.
Big team effort. I know that's got to be for that barn. It's got to be a lot of work. Got to be a little bit of a headache sometimes too. I don't know how you manage everything to that level. That's got to be tough.
When you do have when you have strings as big as Brittany does, and several strings in different barns. She has a string here at Pimlico, a string here at Laurel, a string at now at Delaware, but was at Fair Hill earlier this winter. It's the team you rely on. She has some excellent assistants underneath her teamwork, and it's a team. This speaks of a team effort. While Brittany is fantastic, and there's a reason she's up there. The team certainly helps back that up, and with another potential team on the rise, as Nick DiLodovico, as mentioned last week, got his win early in Maryland. Again, he's been taking over the Lynn Cash contingency and had some early success with it, Keith.
Got the fresh cut there, too, huh? How about that? No bandana, no nothing. I tell you, looking sharp. Nick DiLodovico, congrats to him. I'm sure he's going to do just fine. He's got the right kind of breeding, right? He's got a good lineage there. His dad, obviously, Damon, has done a fine job. His mom, everybody, that whole family.
Wife Sarah of Vet.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah. So he's set up. He's put in his time, no doubt.
Absolutely. So we're going to hope for some more success for everybody here at MJC at the last Saturday of Old Hilltop, and we will take it to Dave Rodman for some more changes and scratches.
All right. Good luck.